Stealing is the main mechanic in Steal a Brainrot. And in my last video I stole 20 gods and a few secrets. In this video I stole 30 gods and a ton more secrets. There are also some crazy parts in the video, so without further ado let's get started. To start off, I hopped into the server and saw this stacked base with a Lavaka, so I was preparing to do the sentry method and cloned in. I then Medusa'd, then realized he was giving them away for free, so easy first secret. For this next steal I saw this Lavaka, but the timer was 159 seconds, so I went over to this other base that was stacked, but he left. But right after someone else joined and had an extinct Tralalero, so I grappled onto his sign and placed a sentry. After that I went down to check the timer and placed a trap to trap swap at 3 seconds, trap swapped, stole the secret, then started heading up to my sentry. When I got to the sentry I climbed onto second floor and from there hopped onto the border of the map and inched my way to my base. When I got to my base I then hopped around it and jumped into the deposited spot. This next steal was a very quick in and out steal. I spawned in right next to this base with a giraffe getting stolen, so I waited for it to come back, and when it did I stole it and ran to my base.
Girafa celeste.
Around 30 minutes later, I joined this server with this base that was getting stolen from but was getting defended. So since my base was so far away, the only way I could have gotten it was the sentry method, so I placed a sentry on their sign, went around to the Brainrot and Medusa'd. I then stole the Brainrot and hopped around to my sentry. When I was about to jump to second floor, the owner actually left, but luckily another one spawned in with 3 floors right after, so I just hopped up. There was this op trying to hit me with flying carpet but was like disabled because he missed me like 12 times. There was also this guy defending me, so W random. Shortly after, I found this table thing and the base time was 3 seconds, so I quickly went in there and attempted to steal it. Sadly, I got sniped by Medusa, but right after that I hopped servers and found this better table right next to me, so I cloned in and snatched it so the owner couldn't leave. When the timer hit 4 seconds he boogie bombed me, so I stole it again and headed to my base, and the owner tried to boogie bomb me again, but it was on cooldown, so I secured it. Around 5 minutes later, I was looking around this server when I noticed that there was just a wide open base right next to me, so of course I yoinked the best Brainrot and ran to my base. For this next steal I spotted this base with a golden Odindin on second floor with 9 seconds, so I grappled onto the sign and placed a sentry, then immediately cloned in and stole the Odindin. As I was hopping around the border I thought this guy was going to hit me, so I jumped onto the second floor base, but he was actually trying to help and magnet me, but at the time it was bugged, so I got stuck and someone tried to hit me, but luckily my buddy Medusa'd him and I got to my base. A couple minutes later, I spawned right next to this base with a couple good things, so I immediately cloned in and stole this Mateo. There was this random who web-slinged and occupied the owner till the base unlocked, so I actually got to my base. He actually kept guarding me from the owner, so I went back in there and tried to steal this extinct Tralalero, and when I got it the owner actually left and the random protected me all the way to my base, so thank you very much. Directly after that I transferred the Brainrots to an alt account. Then I joined a public and spawned right next to a base with 2 gods, so I grappled onto her sign and placed a sentry, then cloned in. At 3 seconds I Medusa'd and headed to her second floor. After I got onto the border I jumped around to my base and jumped into the corner, and if you didn't know, it also registers as you being in your base. After that something crazy happened. I joined this game thinking I was going to hop again, but I spotted this base with a ton of Brainrots. I was wondering why it was just open, but then noticed that the owner was lagging so bad, so I stole as many Brainrots as I could before his base was emptied. In total I got 4 secrets and 3 gods from that, which is insane. Alright, back to normal. I found this base with a Cocofanto, so I cloned in. This rando web-slinged the owner and was going for the Odindin, so I thought I was safe, but I still got hit.
What?
Somehow I ended up back on the Cocofanto, so I stole it and headed to my base. Around 15 minutes later, I spawned in right next to this base with a human social experiment going on. There was this one secret and like 5 people trying to get it, so of course I joined in. Every time I tried to clear the sentries I got hit, and every time I Medusa'd I got Medusa'd, till eventually there was a breakthrough and I was able to take it and run to my base. I don't know if it's just me, but I hate it when someone just hits me even though it's not the base owner when I'm trying to steal something. Anyways, I joined this server and saw this base along with many other people that had the new taco secret, so I cloned in. You might be thinking why I picked up this keyboard thing instead of the 49 millisecond, and that is because if I chose to get the taco I know I would get absolutely harassed by everyone in the server and there would be just no way, so I at least wanted something of value. After a couple minutes, I joined this server and found this guy with a diamond job application. I picked it up but he medusa'd me and left after I web-slinged him. Though in the same server a stacked base spawned in with 98 seconds on the clock, so I picked up a cockroach and hid in the corner. I did get hit, but picked it up again right after. When the base unlocked I went around the owner's second floor all the way to my base. In the server right after, I spawned right next to a base with a Mateo, so I placed a sentry just in case someone tries to chase me. At 5 seconds I tried to steal it but this guy did, so I had to Medusa him then steal it. He tried to chase me but got hit by my sentry. Around 45 minutes later, I spawned right next to a base with a tiger, so I placed a sentry on the path and a couple traps. When the base timer hit 6 seconds, I cloned into the base and Medusa'd him. I then stole the tiger and ran to my base. This next steal was the quickest steal ever. I spawned in, Medusa'd, and took it to my base. Later, I spawned in right next to this base with a Cocofanto. At 5 seconds I Medusa'd and picked the Brainrot up. I have no idea how that Medusa didn't hit, but the bars unlocked and I ran to my base. After that my PC crashed for some reason, but anyways I spawned in right next to this giraffe, cloned in, and waited for the timer to hit 7 seconds. I also placed a sentry so if they try to come up the stairs they would get hit. At 7 seconds I Medusa'd and waited next to the door. The owner used coil combo and got hit by my sentry, so he got launched into the air and couldn't hit me in time. For this next steal I found this base with a Turbo 3000, so I waited for the timer to go down. When it hit 25 seconds I cloned in, and waited for 5 seconds. At 5 seconds I Medusa'd, and ran to the second floor. From there I went to the border and hopped around to my base. Around 3.1415 minutes later, I spawned in right next to this guy with 3 birds, so I placed 5 traps and a sentry in the middle then cloned in. At 5 seconds I Medusa'd, stole the Brainrot, and ran around the second floor to my base. Shortly after, I found this ballerina Lolola with the timer at 19 seconds, so I placed 1 sentry and only 1 trap then cloned in. At 7 seconds I Medusa'd, stole the Brainrot and ran to my base. For this second to last steal, I spotted more birds. I immediately cloned in and placed a sentry, and at 6 seconds I Medusa'd and stole the Brainrot then ran to my base. I was about to jump down, but there were 2 little campers, so I decided to wait for one of them to grapple up so I could jump down with less of a hassle. For this last steal I had to look for the best Brainrot in the whole game, so I joined this game and looked around then spotted it. A Cocofanto. I pulled the sentry strat, didn't even Medusa and ran around to the second floor. Then I went around the border to my base. Now it's time for the second Crazy Rivals clip.